Spoofer RAVENBERG here. I'm standing in my back garden just outside the cottage in County Sligo, and as you can see I'm surrounded by a very typical plant in the Sligo countryside. It's as common as the nettle, it's as common as the thistle, it's as common as heather. The prickly pear, you can see it there. Now, you might think they're very smooth, you might think you can touch them, but if you actually do touch a prickly pear, you'll get thousands of little spikes, little points, little needles, little jabberwockies, shall I say, little jabberwockies in your hands, in your legs, everywhere, and you won't really be able to get them out. You could spend 14 hours trying to get them out of one hand, with the tweezers. Waste of time. Anyway, I want to say that I was just reminiscing to myself as I was walking around the garden here, looking and admiring and standing well back from the prickly pears. I was actually reminiscing back in 1995. I was dating 3 women at the same time. You've heard of 2 timing. Well, Spoofer RAVENBERG was 3 timing. The 3 women were Pamela Anderson, Cindy Crawford and Sharon Stone. So I was dating all of them at the same time. None of them knew that I was dating the other 2. I was very crafty, very wily. Now you're probably wondering, how could a shamanic wizard like myself be able to date the sexiest and the hottest women in the world in 1995? How was I able to do that? How was simple and humble Spoofer RAVENBERG able to date such gorgeous babes? Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you how. The reason I was able to date them, apart from being absolutely drop-dead gorgeous, was because I have what a lot of men don't have. And that thing is called charisma. Charisma. Now, when I worked at Wall Street, when I worked in Wall Street, I always had the beautiful secretaries and all the beautiful women. They would come over to my desk and they would sit on the desk, with their legs dangling, and they'd be giggling away. And like the boss would come over to me and he'd say, "Spoofer, how do you do it?" And I'd say, "What do you mean?" And he'd say, "How do you attract? You're like a magnet for the babes." And I'd tell him, I'd say, the reason, right, the trick is you have to have charisma. So my boss says, "Well, how do you get this charisma?" I said, "You're born with it." Unfortunately, I was born with it, but you also have to practice. You have to practice your charisma to make sure it stays strong. It's like a muscle. Or it's like a muscle. If you don't use your muscle, it will atrophy. And what you want is to keep your muscle in shape. So I always keep my charisma in shape. He asked me, would he be able to try and work on his charisma? He wasn't really born with a lot of charisma. And I told him, I looked him in the eye, I said, "If you give me €50, I'll tell you that you can." And he gave me €50 and I looked him in the eye. And I brought him over to the water cooler, looked him in the eye, I said, "Boss, you work on your charisma and you'll be able to get all the babes like Spoofer RAVENBERG." So there you go, 1995. Would you believe it? Would you believe it? Shamanic Bogman, Spoofer RAVENBERG, over there in America, dating Pamela Anderson, Cindy Crawford, and Sharon Stone all at the same time. All at the same time. Look after yourselves, guys. For those of you that don't have charisma, you can always go outside and I don't know, sweep the street or something, do something, it's not all doom and gloom. You can go out and I don't know, pull up a few daisies or something, but for those special people like myself, the world really is our oyster. It is our oyster. We can have all the babes, all the gorgeous babes we want. Look after yourselves. Have a song in your heart. Let that song flutter right across and over, not coming into contact with a field of prickly pears. Look after yourselves. I love yous. I fucking love yous. I fucking love yous. Yous are fucking brilliant. I fucking love yous.